History and tradition of the Auburn-Georgia game has been written with a deep Southern accent. The air rattled with cries of War Eagle and Hunker Down since 1892. Today, the showdown is modernized thanks to the rocket arm of Auburn's Jarrett Stidham, fresh off a stunning comeback win over Texas A&M, and the youthful confidence of Georgia's Jake Fromm, the SEC's defending championship quarterback. Between the hedges tonight, everything old feels new again in the 123rd edition of the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Welcome everyone to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton by Hilton. Tonight from sold-out Sanford Stadium on a chilly night, the temperature in the mid-40s and dropping. Auburn has made the 3-hour trip across state lines to renew its ancient rivalry with the 5th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. Delighted to have you with us. We'll be joined in just a moment by Holly Rowe. Welcome to this rematch of last year's SEC championship game won by Georgia. Todd, the Dogs going back to the conference title game on December 1st. This year they'll take on Alabama, but a lot to play for Georgia in these last 3 games, all at home, trying to get in the top 4 in the college football playoff rankings.
Yeah, they've won enough games to go back to the SEC championship game. They're playing their best football of the season, but in order to return to the playoffs, they're going to have to win out. That includes beating Alabama in the SEC championship game. That road won't be easy, and it starts tonight against an Auburn team that maybe isn't as strong as a year ago, but they've got a defensive front that's legitimate that will challenge the Georgia run game.
And Georgia, about to take the field, is the leading rushing team in the SEC under third-year head coach Kirby Smart. Took them to the national title game a year ago in Atlanta, where they lost a heartbreaker in overtime to Alabama, a younger team this year, but still poised to have a memorable season. And Todd, we spoke with both sides during the week. Both sides use the word hate in this politically correct world in which we live. You don't hear that very often, but there is great disdain between these two. The proximity, they recruit against each other for a lot of the same players.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I mean, you look at Auburn's roster, there are 30 guys from the state of Georgia. They go head-to-head in recruiting probably more than any other opponents.
Georgia won the toss and deferred. So Rodrigo Blankenship, touchback machine, kicks off. And it's a touchback. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, when Auburn takes the field tonight, there will be an opportunity to set a new career record. Ryan Davis, their steady receiver, led their team in receptions last year. He's doing it again this year with 43 catches. He just needs 2 catches tonight, and he will become the all-time career leader in receptions for Auburn. We talked to him about it last night, and he said, you know, I'm really honored. I haven't done this by myself. I really trust all my teammates, but he said, I feel blessed that I've been able to be such a great playmaker for Auburn. He promises me that he's at least going to tie the record tonight. We'll see if they go to him early on this drive.
Jarrett Stidham, the quarterback, well aware of that mark. Stidham swings it out, and there's completion number 1 for Ryan Davis to tie the all-time mark. 153 catches now for Davis. Jarrett Stidham is the quarterback, a junior from Stephenville, Texas. Started at Baylor, played 3 games there as a true freshman, then transferred, did 1 semester at junior college, then came to Auburn, where he became the starter last year and led them to the SEC title game. Here's a flea flicker, and Stidham in trouble, rolled away from it, and has a completion and a good run after the catch by the freshman Seth Williams across midfield to the Georgia 47, and a first down on a 17-yard gain.
Really, really nice decision by Stidham, because he was looking for Darius Slayton, and he was open, but the protection broke down. He had to leave the pocket and find an outlet receiver.
Good pressure by Jonathan Ledbetter to 3-4 Georgia defense. Tarvius Whitlow belted behind the line of scrimmage and could not escape. And that's been the big problem all year for the Auburn Tigers. Traditionally a run-heavy team under Gus Malzahn, but this year they haven't been able to get the running game going at all.
Yeah, Tay Crowder, one of the linebackers that subs in a lot. You'll see more on and off the field of Georgia defensive players than any team you'll watch this year. Ty Crowder that time with an outstanding play behind the line of scrimmage.
Loss of 6. Tarvius Whitlow is their leading rusher. They swing it to him, and he gets dropped for a loss. Tyler Clark, junior from Americus, Georgia.
Well, Tyler Clark is inside. He's on a stunt, but as he comes around the stunt, he reads the screen, and so he just peels off to make the play. He was on a stunt to rush the passer, but he read the screen so quickly, he played right into the play and brings up a 3rd and very long now for Auburn.
Not good on 3rd down because they haven't been able to run the ball. They've gotten behind the chains with regularity. They've had to throw it much more than they have wanted to this season. And with a 3-man rush, they could not find an open receiver. Stidham did well to get back to midfield, but still 13 yards short of the 1st down.
Well, not a bad opening possession for Auburn. They had the negative plays, and that's why they've got a punt. But their punter is a weapon, and he has been outstanding this year. And so right away they have a chance to flip the field and let their defense play with Georgia backed up.
Outstanding punter, the Australian Aaron Sipos. Gus Malzahn calls him a weapon. Terrific at angling the ball to either side. Fair catch made by Terry Godwin of a 39-yard punt. Here comes Georgia on offense, led by the sophomore from Warner Robins, Georgia. Jake Fromm came the starter a year ago after a prolific high school career. 3rd most passing yards in state history, and this is a great high school football state. Took them all the way to the title game. Looked for a long time like they were going to win it. Lost in overtime to Alabama, and he's been the starter throughout this season, although sharing time with Justin Fields, a talented freshman, the #1 recruit in the entire country coming out of high school into college football this year. Elijah Holyfield is the running back as they start from the 12. Powerful run by Holyfield, refusing to go down. It's an 11-yard gain, and finally Nick Coe got him on the grass. There's tonight's Impact Players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. DeAndre Swift will split time with Holyfield and running back Riley Ridley. Their leading receiver Nick Coe, force up front for Auburn, 7 sacks, and Deshaun Davis is their leading tackler at linebacker. On 1st and 10, here's Holyfield. Taken down at the 30-yard line by the safety, Daniel Thomas.
Both of the running backs for Georgia, Sean, are physical guys. I mean, they are stout, strong guys. Holyfield has got speed, but he doesn't have the same make-you-miss ability that DeAndre Swift has. This guy has the ability to change directions at full speed. A little more difficult to bring down in the secondary, but both guys very productive.
Both over 100 for each. Those numbers you saw career high in their SEC East clinching win at Kentucky last week. Swift enough for the 1st down near the 34-yard line, taken down by Montavious Atkinson.
Well, one of the concerns for Georgia coming into this game against this defensive front of Auburn that has NFL caliber guys, the health of their center, Lamont Gilliard, and their starting right guard, true freshman Cade Mays. Both of them missed time this week in practice. They both looked good in pregame warmups, and so far off to a good start on the opening possession.
Well, both came out of that win at Kentucky last week. Gilliard, the center, left very early in that game. On target from and into Auburn territory goes Terry Godwin. A 1st down to the 42 of the Tigers.
Nice job by DeAndre Swift picking up the blitzing linebacker. That allows Fromm to stay in the pocket and find Godwin crossing the field. The linebacker Davis was coming on a blitz that voided that middle area, and a nice read by Jake Fromm.
He's a very accurate passer. Fromm completing just under 68% a 25-yard gain. On the run, Swift, who's battled a groin problem a lot of the year, but you can see the last couple of weeks, and he told us yesterday he's finally getting healthy, and the explosiveness is coming back.
Yeah, had 104 yards against Florida a couple of weeks ago in their big win. Had 156 yards and 2 touchdowns last week against Kentucky. And it was really the first touchdown, the 20-yarder, that showed me he's all the way back, because he made a couple jump cuts that were wow-type moves.
And then to show that the speed was still there, he scored on an 83-yard run in the second half. He scored 34 in Kentucky last week. The first team to score more than 20 against the Wildcats. They're looking to score in their opening drive tonight as Holyfield rumbles inside the 20, a 22-yard pickup.
See, Georgia fools you. They bring these guys in, so they make it look like they're going to run inside. You can't give up contain if you're a safety or a corner. That's just bad discipline on the defense by Auburn, not setting the edge. And Holyfield shows the speed to get to the perimeter. It starts off looking like an inside run, and Holyfield bounces it out to a lot of green grass.
He is the son of the great heavyweight champ, Evander Holyfield. Just down the road in the Atlanta area. Elijah from College Park, Georgia. Play fake by Fromm, running out of time to the end zone with a flag down. It hits the ground incomplete, intended for Riley Ridley, but there is a flag thrown. Jamel Dean had coverage for Auburn.
Yeah, Jamel Dean got caught behind him, and when Ridley took it to the outside, Dean just grabbed him and held him. It was single coverage, and he got
Pass
caught.
interference. Number 12, defense. Ball he placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
The problem from Auburn right now is the running game is so good for Georgia. It's forcing these one-on-one situations, and that's clearly pass interference or holding. You can call it either one in that situation. But the running success early is going to be a problem for Auburn, because that forces them to bring an extra defender in to stop the run, and man-to-man coverage without a safety on help on the top.
Auburn has been an excellent red zone defense all season long.
And this has been an area inside the 5 where Georgia has struggled to score touchdowns.
And Holyfield right on cue, stacked up. We thought this is a part of the field where we might see Justin Fields to try to help Georgia turn those numbers around. More of a running threat at quarterback, and here he comes.
Now, the reason we're going to see him is because he is 230 pounds and a great runner. They don't have a fullback in their offense, so the best way to get an additional blocker is to have your quarterback run. And he's the biggest, most powerful runner that they have on the roster. But he can throw it
as well. Yes, he can. We saw that at practice on Thursday night. He can really throw it. Second and goal from the 4. Look out, he's dropped for a loss. Back of the 8-yard line by Deshaun Davis, the senior from Pritchard, Alabama, making his 33rd career start for the Tigers.
Really good discipline that time by the Auburn defense. Nick Coe, the defensive end, just stayed right at home, forced Fields to step up in the pocket. That was supposed to be a throw, not a run, but Nick Coe forced the scramble situation by the quarterback.
So the Auburn defense rising up in the red zone as it has throughout the year. Georgia struggling from in close. Fromm back at quarterback with Swift the running back. Time for Fromm back in the end zone and too high over the head of Isaac Nada. The tight end Jeremiah Denson in coverage for Auburn.
He had him too. That was a good matchup. Nada has been good at this part of the field, and that was just an overthrow by Jake Fromm. And once again, they get inside the 5-yard line and find it difficult to get the ball into the end zone. That's been a lingering problem.
So here's Rodrigo Blankenship, former walk-ons, become one of the best kickers in the country. And enormously popular here. They have all the players introduce themselves on the video screen before the game. When he came on the screen, a huge roar went up. That field goal good from 25 yards, and Georgia, 8 minutes in, leads visiting Auburn. And a great rivalry game, the Deep South's oldest rivalry, Auburn and Georgia. And the Bulldogs off to a 3-0 lead.
Auburn started their first possession throwing early, and I think that's going to have to be the recipe for them. They're going to have Jarrett Stidham throw the ball well, throw the ball a lot, and throw on early downs. And I think for them to have a chance, that's going to have to be their recipe, and hope they can sneak some runs in by surprise.
Blankenship is kicked off 67 times this year. Only 7 have been returned, and this one won't be either. I think that's fewer points than last year, was it not?
Wow.
That is bedlam. It's a perfect label for that rivalry. Tarvius Whitlow off the play fake. A tough run for a first down as he rumbled out to the 39-yard line. Richard LeCount, the safety and the leading tackler on the year for Georgia, made the stop. A 15-yard run for Whitlow.
He's their best running back. He's had some ankle issues. He had 170 yards against Ole Miss. That was his best game. And he's got the ability to break tackles, as we saw in that play.
Carried only 8 times last week because of the ankle problem. Throw on first down. Shedrick Jackson, true freshman from Hoover, Alabama, with his first career catch.
One of the guys that we're going to see get his hands on the ball tonight is Anthony Schwartz, a true freshman. I think he just came in the game now, number 5. He's up in the slot up here. Maybe the fastest guy in all of college football.
Not maybe. He is.
Okay.
He is world-class sprinter speed. Mel Tucker,
Sideline warning on the Georgia bench. The first and only warning of the game. Second down.
Mel Tucker, the defensive coordinator for Georgia, said he is the fastest man in football, college or pro. He ran a 10.07 hundred meters. I mean, Usain Bolt's world record is 9.58. It's basically half a second slower than the fastest 100 of all time. He can fly. Stidham slides down with a 1-yard gain in hot pursuit. Tate Crowder.
Well, the interesting thing about Schwartz is he was a high school teammate of Tyson Campbell, the starting freshman cornerback for Georgia. Same high school as Sony Michel, the great Georgia running back. And they were both sprinters in high school.
From American Heritage High School. Ran against each other when they were juniors in the 100 meters in the state of Florida. Mel Tucker told us he was there to watch it. And Campbell won as a junior because Schwartz pulled up with a hamstring problem in the middle of the race. This is Schwartz this past May, winning the Florida Class 2A state championship, 100 meters in 10.07. Campbell second at 10.39.
Wow.
And Shivers, the Auburn running back, third. Ryan Davis now with his second catch of the night, and he is all by himself atop the career receptions list at Auburn with 154. Moves out of the tie with Courtney Taylor, who played for Auburn from 2003 to 06.
A little different wrinkle, too, with the Auburn offense right now.
There's Davis again, adding to his record total. Ganked out of bounds, and here comes a flag as DeAndre Baker took him down on the far sideline.
Auburn trying to play with some tempo, and they're playing in a little 2-by-2 set. They've got 4 wide receivers in the game.
Foul, unnecessary roughness, pulling a player down to the ground after he's been out of that bounds. Number 18, defense. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
And a horse collar as well on DeAndre Baker, one of the best defensive backs in the country.
Now Auburn going with a little bigger personnel. They bring their H-back Chandler Cox back in, and Tucker Brown, one of their blocking tight ends. So a more run-oriented formation now inside the 20.
They want to go as fast as they can. Georgia, as you said, Todd, likes to substitute a lot. They want to try to prevent that. Here's Davis again. Nice cut. And he's inside the 10. DeAndre Baker, another tackle, the senior out of Miami.
Nice cut by Davis and a nice block by Darius Slayton, the other wide receiver out there. He cut off of his block, and that's how he was able to get that ball inside the 10-yard line. Nice looking drive here, mostly through the air for the Auburn Tigers.
Team that has really struggled on offense this year. Whitlow lines up as a Wildcat. He throws to the back of the end zone for an Auburn touchdown. John Samuel Shaker, redshirt freshman tight end. They don't throw to the tight ends very often. That's just his third career catch and his first touchdown.
Well, watch right here. They're thinking run all the way. He's going to slip out. The defender, the linebacker, is going to leave his area. And wide open there for the touchdown. That was Otis Reese, number 17, the freshman safety that got fooled on the play. Excellent call by Gus Malzahn and Chip Lindsey.
Anders Carlson adds the extra point, and Auburn takes the lead, 7-3. You had the feeling, talking to their coaches last night, Malzahn and the offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey, they'd be creative tonight, and they're into the bag of tricks early. Some of the brave men and women of our armed forces around the world showing off their Auburn pride. This week we honor all of America's heroes who have served, currently serving in our armed forces this week and on every day of the year. We're so grateful for your service, and hope if you're watching this game around the world, service of our country, that you are enjoying it. A dangerous Nicole Hardman back deep for the Anders Carlson kickoff, and it's a touchback. After an impressive drive that stalled inside the 5-yard line, their first possession, Georgia now needs to convert on 3rd and 8. Short throw to Swift and lots of running room. High stepping across the 50.
You can't forget about this guy. He's too good a receiver. That's his 18th reception of the year. I mean, he is a very gifted receiver. If he comes out of the backfield, you better account for him. Yes, he's an outlet receiver, but he is a dangerous guy with his hands on the football in the open field. And that's a breakdown in the pass coverage by Auburn, because you can't not account for DeAndre Swift out of the backfield.
Noah Igbenogany made the tackle, 25-yard gain, a screen to Swift. And he's out of bounds. We spoke with Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator of Georgia, yesterday. He said Swift has wide receiver skills. He runs routes beautifully, has terrific hands. His dad, Darren, is here from Philadelphia tonight. Darren played at Delaware Valley, was a running back himself, and coached his son a lot as a child.
Well, last year when they had Nick Chubb and Sony Michel, they used DeAndre Swift more as a receiver, kind of in the slot.
Justin Fields returns at quarterback for 2nd and 6. Flip to Tyler Simmons, trying to pick up some blockers and got only one. Well played on the corner by Jamel Dean. Transfer from Ohio State, where he spent just 1 semester now in his junior year at Auburn. 24th consecutive start for Jake Fromm. Was the backup at the beginning of last year. Jacob Eason got hurt in the first game, never got the job back. As Fromm took them to the national title game, Eason's transferred to the University of Washington.
Great competitor and a very cerebral quarterback, Jake Fromm.
20-3 as the starter, and on target to Terry Godwin, weaving through the traffic and out of bounds inside the 25.
Well, again, Auburn is trying to blitz inside linebackers, and that opens up the middle of the field. It's man coverage. Godwin gets separation away from Jordan Peters, and the inside blitz by the linebackers opens up that middle for Jake Fromm. He is a very quick reader and recognizer of your defense.
You don't have to talk to him very long, as we did yesterday, to find out he is a very bright young man. Elijah Holyfield banged down by Dontavius Russell. Big in the middle of that front four for Auburn, 320 pounds.
Lamont Gilliard, the center, who missed some of that Kentucky game and missed a couple days of practice with a hyperextended knee, got up a little slow at the end of that play. He is feeling it a little bit at the end of that run.
Cade Mays, number 77, the true freshman next to him, playing with the right shoulder. Hardman went in motion, and they flip it to him. He's an explosive runner. Daniel Thomas.
Cole Hardman has
Throwing on the
great
field is a
quickness.
fumble forward that went out of bounds. By rule, the ball will be brought back to the spot of the fumble.
Thomas
Third down.
knocked it out.
Hardman has great quickness. He's battled an ankle injury, and he is a guy that had 22 receptions in their first 6 games of the season. He's been a little bit slowed down
That is
since
the end
then.
of the first quarter.
And there you see the ball being knocked out of bounds to end the first quarter.
Entertaining opening 15 minutes. The Deep South's oldest rivalry. And at the end of one, it's Auburn on top, 7-3. And it's Veterans Week on ESPN, brought to you by USAA. Entertaining opening quarter here in Athens, Georgia. Sold out Sanford Stadium. Auburn leading 7-3, but Georgia on the move again, and Justin Fields back in at quarterback for this 3rd and 1 at the Auburn 13.
The guy you got to block is number 5, Derek Brown. He's right here, lined up over the right guard.
Fields, no hesitation, straight ahead, first down, 10-yard line.
Again, when your quarterback runs, you pick up an extra blocker, so the math is better. You've got an extra tight end like a fullback, and this is a run all the way. A 230-pound quarterback following the lead block by the tight end, and an easy conversion for the first down.
Another good tackle by Daniel Tom.
Interesting to see how Jim Chaney calls plays now. The last time they were deep in Auburn territory, they got shut out trying to get the ball in the end zone. Now they're on the 10, 1st and goal. Let's see what he wants to do with it.
We'll start with Elijah Holyfield, and he did well to get a yard. Jamel Dean, another good tackle by one of these defensive backs for Auburn.
The last time they got down inside the 5, and they found it tough sledding. They brought Justin Fields in, but they tried to throw with him on 2nd down. Auburn defended that. And then on 3rd down, they brought Jake Fromm back in, and he threw incomplete to the back of the end zone. And for Georgia, in goal-to-go situations, they've had 15 of them now. This is number 16, and they've only scored touchdowns 8 times.
Swift broke some tackles, got inside the 3. Another stop for Daniel Thomas, the junior safety out of Montgomery, Alabama.
I think if you're going to put Justin Fields in there in those plays, let him run the football. You gain an extra blocker. He's bigger than DeAndre Swift.
Maybe doesn't throw it. He was attempting to throw it in the first quarter, but Auburn defended the pass well. So here's Fromm back in on 3rd and goal, with a tight bunch of receivers to the right and Swift on his left hip. Fromm running out of time, running to the line of scrimmage, and that's as far as he'll get. They've blown the play dead. Crowd kept cheering as they shoved him toward the goal line, but they had stopped his forward progress with Derek Brown in the middle of it at 6'5", 325, number 5 for Auburn.
Well, first of all, outstanding coverage by the Auburn defense. It's only a 4-man rush, actually a 3-man rush, and Derek Brown was just kind of in a spy situation, and that's why he was there to stop Jake Fromm before he got to the end zone. Excellent defense once again in a tough situation by this Auburn Tiger defense.
8 goal to go. Snaps for Georgia. So far tonight, no touchdowns. Here's Blankenship with what is essentially an extra point. Jake Camarda, the punter, is the holder. Blankenship knocks it through. He's 2 for 2. The stress of the problems in close continues for Kirby Smart. Auburn coaches trying to read the lips. And one-on-one coverage to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Robert Baker. Hugga has his game face on early. Obo throws it toward the end zone. It is caught at the goal. Pitch to Kirksey. Kirksey waltzes into the end zone. Georgia wins in 4 overtimes. Mention what a great rivalry this is. That was one of the most memorable games I've ever broadcast. 1996, the first overtime game in the history of the SEC. Jim Donnan's Bulldogs won it 4 overtimes, rallied from 28-7 down Mike Bobo, the touchdown pass with no time left to force the overtime. Gonna get 5. Got a little frisky. Kirby Smart was a player on the team, as was Matt Stinchcomb. Was just introduced to the crowd during the timeout. He's heading into the Hall of Fame. Great lineman here at Georgia. Rushed for just 23 yards, but the good news is that's 2 yards more than they had the entire game against Texas A&M last week. Actually 4 yards more than they had. On target, Stidham. And Anthony Schwartz, the speedy freshman, held on. He got blasted in the back at the 47-yard line, a gain of 20.
Really good pass protection this time. Mike Horton, the guard, did a beautiful job picking up the stunt, and Stidham moved enough in the pocket to buy some time. Big third down conversion that time by the Tigers.
Stidham's had an up and down year. Highly regarded pro prospect. Third highest pro prospect among those eligible in the next draft among quarterbacks, according to Todd McShay. Schwartz again into Georgia territory to the 47. Here's Holly.
Well, Sean, one of the reasons Jarrett Stidham's had an up and down year is because he just hasn't had the protection up front. He's been under duress for much of the season. Part of the issue is they haven't been able to settle on his center. They had Caleb Kim start the first 3 games. He is back starting now after not being in for the last 4.
And Nick Brahms, a redshirt freshman, have been starting. They've been trying to find the right guy there. Deep throw and a flag down. Slayton had double coverage, the primary coverage from the freshman Tyson Campbell, who gets picked on because of the talent of the other corner, one of the best in the country, DeAndre Baker.
You know, it's interesting because the first incompletion on this possession, DeAndre Baker got away with some pushing and grabbing, and they didn't call anything. Now they go against the freshman, and he gets the flag, and that kind of happens. He got caught out there on Darius Slayton. He's beaten right off the ball and then just kind of runs into him. He doesn't know where the football is, and I don't know that that was any more contact than DeAndre Baker had, but it drew the flag.
And they should have. Campbell, mentioned out of American Heritage, terrific high school program. Patrick Surtain Sr., the coach, former NFL player, and his son, Patrick.
Look at that. Already 21 different players have played at least a snap tonight.
Never had more defensive players on my spotting board than I do for Georgia here tonight. They list 4 to 5 deep, and a lot of them play. Ryan Davis, the catch, and a first down.
And as long as the offense doesn't substitute, they can go as fast as they want. If the offense substitutes, then the referees will allow the defense time to make a switch.
Tarvius Whitlow got driven back. Jonathan Ledbetter and Jawan Taylor. But Auburn is on the move again. And Todd, this is an offense that came in averaging 28 points per game. 9th in the SEC, 74th in the country. And if you take away the 63 points against Alabama State, they've averaged 24 points per game. In this day and age in college football, that is dreadful.
Well, they're putting it on Jarrett Stidham, and he's delivering.
With a strike for a first down. Darius Slayton, first and goal, Tigers at the 5.
He is 11 for 12 now. They're spreading Georgia out. They're not trying to run the football like they normally do, and they're letting their quarterback make the plays.
Stidham to the 3-yard line. Richard LeCount took him across the sideline. 8.5 minutes to go till halftime. Auburn up by a point, then looking at second and goal.
It's a nice play by LeCount because he was being blocked pretty well by Ryan Davis. He got off the block and was able to make the tackle on Stidham.
Look at how many Georgia defenders run on here.
Well, this is a run offensive formation. This muddle huddle now. Watch, they're going to break out of the huddle quickly and go right to the snap. Overbalanced to the left.
Chandler Cox, the running back's a fullback, back in the end zone, too high. Looking for Shaker, who caught the touchdown pass in the first quarter.
This formation had 4 offensive linemen to the left of the center and 2 tight ends. And they tried to throw to one of those tight ends, but Georgia was in the right position. And now it's 3rd and goal.
And Georgia,
it's like a hockey game, right?
6 men onto the field.
trying to match personnel.
Tarvius Whitlow, the running back. Four-man rush. Jarrett Stidham, incomplete. Looked like Seth Williams had a chance to snare it. Eric Stokes, the redshirt freshman from Covington, Georgia, with good coverage for the Dogs.
Yeah, right out here. Eric Stokes, he's got his hands on him, but he's fighting through the ball. He's making a play on the football and able to knock it out.
Cam Newton wanted 6. Now he'll hope for 3. Anders Carlson, redshirt freshman, the brother of Daniel Carlson. Penalty might have helped, actually. Gave him a little better angle from in close. And it's a 27-yarder up and good. 10-6 Auburn leading. Importance of that come from behind win last week for Auburn against Texas A&M. Had that gone the way it looked like it was going to go into the loss column for the Tigers, that was going to be 3 losses out of 4. And probably a really flat team coming here. Gus Malzahn said you could feel the lift that his team got from that win. Anders Carlson. Here's Mecole Hardman. He can fly. He can break tackles, and he's all the way out to the 40-yard line. DeAndre Swift now lined up as a Wildcat. They blitz him. He runs through a big hole. Has a first down inside the 35. Another tackle for the safety, Daniel Thomas.
Watch the block by Isaac Nada right here, the tight end. This is the key block. It was kind of a late shift to the Wildcat. Nada with the block. And DeAndre Swift cuts right off of his hip for the first down. 3rd and short. They got to go to something a little creative, and that time it paid off. Good call by Jim Chaney. Good chance now with this bunch in formation to take a shot towards the end zone. Play action with everything in tight and see if you can pop one.
Swift ahead for a yard.
Williams with the tackle.
Brian Herrian now coming in, their 3rd back, kind of a 3rd down back. Use a little bit more in their pass type offense.
Godson of the late great Steve McNair. Brian Herrian, junior out of Douglasville, Georgia. Tigers showing blitz again. They do crowd the line. Herrian runs through them. First down and shoved out of bounds at the 20-yard line by Daniel Thomas.
Watch the block now by Andrew Thomas, the left tackle. Excellent block on the outside linebacker. That was Darrell Williams, number 49. He blocked. Brian Herrian with his first carry, and he makes it pay. Breaks a tackle and gets the first down.
8 tackles in the half for Daniel Thomas, the junior safety. Kevin Steele, defensive coordinator, told us last night Daniel Thomas is one of our best tacklers. He's demonstrated that tonight. Interesting motion. More pressure for Auburn. They don't get there. The man doing the dancing was Akil Crumpton. He wound up with the ball. Senior out of Philadelphia. And Christian Tutton made the tackle for the Tigers.
It was almost the kind of motion that you might have thought there was going to be an option of some sort. He was just an outlet receiver. Fromm goes to him quickly.
Looked like a Canadian football game broke out there. Athens, Georgia.
Gain of 7 yards. It will set up 2nd and 3 for the Dogs.
Under 4 minutes to go in the half.
In this part of the field, I think the guy that Georgia can get a good matchup on is Isaac Nada, number 18, the tight end on the left of the formation.
Swift stuffed immediately by Deshaun Davis.
Boy, he does a nice job of just finding the ball, slipped inside the block. Their leading tackler by far coming into the game, 85 tackles.
Not tall, 5'11". Kevin Steele coached the late great Sam Mills in the NFL. He said, that's who Deshaun Davis reminds me of. Incredibly bright. Like Sam Mills, the ability to diagnose what's coming, and he certainly stuffed that run. Georgia bogging down in the red zone again. 3rd down and 4. Just a 4-man rush. Fromm to the end zone. A touchdown. Tyler Simmons puts the Bulldogs back on top.
Well, perfect throw. It was an inside slot. Bunch formation. Nice out route, and the ball perfectly thrown to the outside away from the defender. Jake Fromm. He did it against Florida. He threw 3 touchdown passes all on 3rd down when his team needed a play. Right there, they need to score. Throw it on 3rd down. Jake Fromm delivers.
Rigo Blankenship the extra point. Tyler Simmons. Not much of a factor in their passing attack this year. That's just his 5th catch of the season and his 2nd touchdown. Jake Fromm, the touchdown pass that has put Georgia back on top.
7 of 9 now in the ball game for 103 yards. Both quarterbacks very accurate with the football so far in the ball game.
Stidham's 11 out of 14 for 100, right on the nose as he gets ready to come back out. Rodrigo Blankenship, hot rod. This one is actually returnable. Nick Benogany's going to try it. He got it bended and fumbled, and Auburn got it back at the 17-yard line. Nick Benogany hangs his head, knowing he's fortunate his mates got it back for him.
And you would expect maybe a little letdown by the Georgia coverage team, not expecting a return, but they were right there.
Yeah, they don't cover many. Stidham continues on target. That one to Ryan Davis. And Mark Webb, cousin of DeAndre Swift, made the tackle.
Like we talked about in one of the breaks. I mean, this is what Auburn's going to have to do. They're going to have to throw just about every down, try to slip a run or a jet sweep or a screen or a draw in every now and then, but just trust Jarrett Stidham and that your protection will hold up. Here comes a screen. It's not there. Throw it away. Don't take a negative play if you're Jarrett Stidham.
How about number 95, Devontae Wyatt? His maneuverability at 301 pounds. He was gaining ground in his pursuit of Jarrett Stidham. Third down and 3, just more. 3rd and 3. Jarrett Stidham takes the check down and a bad throw. So accurate tonight. They had the first down if that was into the hands of Jatarvius Whitlow.
When you're throwing to a running back, you just don't want to make him have to work too hard to catch the football. Don't make him leave his feet. Throw that thing down around his number so he can catch it and get his eyes on the defense. And you're right, it would have been an easy conversion. Instead, a punt situation for Auburn.
And Nicole Hardman back for the punt from Aaron Sipos. Auburn, an excellent punt coverage team. They're 3rd in the nation in net punting. And they're right there to force the fair catch from Hardman. At the 30-yard line. DeAndre Swift into the secondary, and they were running out of white jerseys to get him down. They got him on the grass at the 45.
Watch the center, Lamont Gilliard, go to the 2nd level right there and get the block on 57. Deshaun Davis, the leading tackler.
Fromm throws short, inbounds, short gain to the 42 for Isaac Nada, the junior tight end from Buford, Georgia.
And a 3 on the play.
Think about how big that inaccurate pass by Stidham was a moment ago. Georgia trying to add to its lead. Fromm had to get rid of it. He got blitzed by Darrell Williams.
Well, he got blitzed, and Marlon Davidson, their defensive end, was guarding the back. Here's Davidson right here. He's going to go out and cover the back as the linebackers come on the blitz. It's linebacker pressure. The defensive end peels off, and that's why Jake Fromm had to just throw the football away. Really well-designed defensive pressure that time by Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator.
He's done an excellent job in 3 years at Auburn. The defense has improved dramatically since he came to Auburn. 3rd down and 7. Fromm, short throw, and a good tackle to prevent the first down. It was Darrell Williams again to take down Swift.
When we talked to the Auburn coaches and we talked to Kevin Steele, he said we're not going to even play some with 3 safeties because we have to have our best tacklers on the field. These guys, their running backs in particular, we've got to do a great job of tackling. That was an outstanding open field play by Darrell Williams.
They are going to go for it, it seems, on 4th and 3. Half minute to go. Five-man rush. Fromm has time and a wide open receiver. Terry Godwin. Touchdown, Georgia. Blankenship try to make it a 10-point lead. The largest of the night for either team.
It's the end of the first half.
Jake Fromm with a big pass on 3rd down for a touchdown, and an even bigger pass on 4th down inside of a minute for another touchdown.
Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, it was 4th down with 3 yards to go. What factored into that decision that led to a touchdown?
Well, we wasn't a lot of time in the half. We thought it was just outside Rod's range and higher percentage play to go for it there.
You've had 3 trips to the red zone and are 1 for 2. What do you have to do a little bit better and more efficiently there?
We got to score points. We got to get touchdowns. They're really good on defense, especially in the red area, one of the best in the country. We got to do a much better job of scoring 7 instead of 3.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
appreciate it. Let's go to the studio now on Adnan Vert. Adnan?
Back and forth first half, very entertaining as these two teams meet for the 123rd time. Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. Very entertaining first half. Gus Malzahn, you have to feel a little frustrated by the way the half ended.
They played well. They let it get away from them there at the end of the half, and Georgia was able to extend the lead. And, you know, here's the thing. As good as Auburn's defense played at times, too many explosive plays. We look at explosive plays as runs for 12 or more yards, passes for 20 or more, and Georgia had 8 of them in the first half.
And Auburn still cannot run the ball. Just 32 yards rushing a moment ago. Holly with Gus Malzahn.
Well, Coach, it was quite a turn of events to end the half. You have a crucial 3rd down that you missed that allows them to go down and score. How did you address that with your team?
Yeah, there's no doubt. They got the momentum, and we got to get it back. We got to stop them on defense. We got to go down and score and get the momentum back. We played good football at times. We got to do a better job of getting off the field on 3rd down defensively. But we got to start out this half ready to go.
You said you were going to try to be creative running the football, and you have been creative. What did you see that really worked you can lean on?
Well, we're trying to run a little more gap than we have in the past, and a couple counter trays. But we got to get first downs.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Good first down play there by his defense for no gain. Jeremiah Dinson, the safety, up close to the line of scrimmage.
To drop Elijah Holyfield. Jake Fromm, 10 out of 13 passing for Georgia in the first half. Jarrett Stidham awaits his turn. Nick Coe not back in the game. He did come back on the field. T.J. Moultrie a backup in the game for Auburn. Fromm, incomplete pass dropped by J.J. Holloman. Holly.
Well, you may have noticed they took Nick Coe to the Georgia locker room. That's because that's where the medical equipment is, and they did an x-ray on his arm. When they came out of the locker room, he walked down the sidelines, and they got the Auburn renowned orthopedic surgeon, James Andrews, Dr. Andrews, and he walked back into the Auburn locker room. It looks like a lower wrist or forearm injury right now. I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, you could see on that replay again, his wrist really snapped back. His right
Legal
wrist.
substitution on the offense. 12 players in formation. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
He did come back on the field, but without his helmet. And so
not likely to return.
Georgia a little bit sluggish coming out of the locker room here to start the third quarter. Their 6th penalty of the ball game, and go backwards on the first play of each of their first 2 possessions, and now 3rd and long, and Auburn with a chance to stop and get their offense decent field position again.
The crowd of the line, but then retreat, rushing for Fromm as a man open. First down and much more. They called Hardman across midfield to the Auburn 48.
This bunch formation really effective. Hardman with great speed gets separation, and for some reason Christian Tutt just kind of stops and looks back at the quarterback. Nobody deeper than Tutt, and another 3rd down completion for Jake Fromm.
Now DeAndre Swift trying to turn the corner, and Deshaun Davis runs him down. What a good tackler he is. There's Jim Chaney, offensive coordinator for Georgia, has been in that role all 3 years with Kirby Smart as the head coach.
Gus Malzahn told Holly, we got to do a better job getting off the field on 3rd down, and they've not been able to. I mean, for Georgia tonight, now 6 of 10 on 3rd down conversions.
Holyfield, the running back. Fromm faked it to him, looks deep down the field, and another drop ball. This one by Hardman. And again, it was the freshman Christian Tutt trying to cover.
This is a great throw by Jake Fromm. When you got a guy wide open, throw it right at him. Don't try to lead him. And that's just Mecole Hardman got alligator arms. He knows that Tutt's coming to hit him, and he just lost his concentration on the catch. Fromm did the right thing. Throw it on a line right at your guy, and Hardman didn't make the catch.
Bring the wide receiver Terry Godwin to the backfield for a moment, then he sets up to the right. A wide open Swift, too much room. You said earlier, Todd, he's a frequent target in their passing game, and he has a 1st down.
Well, this is just good decision by Jake Fromm. He's not an intended receiver. He's looking right. It's not there. Dump it off and let him make one guy miss. You see those quick feet and his ability to make people miss in space. He's an outlet receiver who is very effective when he catches the football.
6 for 7 on 3rd down as a team. They're 7 out of 11. Swift is the leading receiver tonight for Georgia with 4. The blitz up the middle. And you can't whiff when you blitz, and they did, and paid the price. A 10-yard gain, 10+. Darrell Williams brought down Swift. It's another 1st down for the Dogs on the move.
Well, watch T.J. Moultrie, the guy in for Coe. He's number 55. He's just going to run right by DeAndre Swift. He comes right in. He's trying to be blocked by a wide receiver. That's a mismatch that he should have won. And he whiffs, and DeAndre Swift turns it into a big run.
And you have to think if that's Coe there, he makes that play.
Absolutely.
Godwin, the motion man, from the pump fake in his direction, throws an interception into traffic and picked off by Jamel Dean, intended for Jason Stanley.
Rolling on the field is an interception by the defense. 1st down.
He just waited too long on this one. There's the route. He waited, and that enabled Dean to step in front of that throw. We've been saying Jake Fromm's been doing a great job of dumping it off. That time, instead of dumping it off to Harrion out of the backfield, he waited and forced a throw.
Ryan Davis will shake and bake and ahead for 3. Taken down by Mark Webb, sophomore out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Now see, right now Auburn is bringing in more of a run formation. They subbed, and so the defense has a chance to sub as well. And when you see the referee with his arms out in an iron cross, that means we're not starting the play until teams have had time to sub.
And Georgia's going to run those defenders on as slowly as they can. Final minute of the third quarter. Stidham had a tough time figuring out just where to throw it away. Robert Beal had pressure. He threw in the general direction of Chandler Cox.
Well, he should have looked right back into the inside. He had Ryan Davis crossing the middle as a good underneath throw. May not have got the first down, but they would have gotten close to it. And he kept his eyes outside and didn't see Davis crossing the middle for an easy completion.
3rd and 7. Auburn 2 out of 7 on 3rd down tonight. Screen. And Whitlow got dumped at the line of scrimmage. Well played by Richard LeCount. Help from Tyler Clark.
3rd down and long situations are difficult against this Georgia defense because they can run so well. They do a lot of creative things pressure-wise, and they can all run.
That is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Neither team scored in the 3rd quarter, so we head to the 4th. 5th-ranked Georgia leading Auburn 20-10. On we go to the 4th quarter. And Aaron Sipos to punt for Auburn. Ranked number 9 to start the season. Moved up to number 7 after that big opening win against Washington. Fell out of the rankings for a while. Moved back into the college football playoff rankings this week. At number 24, 44-yard punt.
DeAndre Swift has done a little bit of everything tonight. Outstanding coming out of the backfield. 4 catches. Very dangerous out in the open field. We've seen him as the tailback. We've even seen him as the Wildcat quarterback. He had groin injuries early in the season, but he is healthy now. When you see guys make those kind of cuts at full speed, you know a guy is feeling pretty good. DeAndre Swift now over 100 yards for the 3rd game in a row. And look at the difference in the last couple games compared to earlier in the season when he wasn't 100% healthy. He is a difference maker now.
Justin Fields in at quarterback, gave it to Swift. Swift told us yesterday, Holly, that he had surgery on both groins back in January.
Yes, Sean, you're right. That's what I was going to say, but okay. Yeah, he hadn't really publicly talked about that. He had told people that he was suffering from a groin injury about 3 weeks into the season. He finally admitted he wasn't at 100%, but he told us yesterday, I think for the first time, that he had surgery on both groins. It's very unusual. He had to have incisions in his abdomen, and so it took him some time to come back, and it looks like he's at full speed now.
They stick with him. He bursts through the hole, breaks a tackle across midfield, gets a nice block down the field, and scores a touchdown.
Whenever you have a running back makes a big play down the field, there's receivers blocking downfield. Isaac Nada, the tight end, 18. And then the wide receiver Holloman, number 9, with a key block. And DeAndre Swift does the rest. He had an 83-yard touchdown run last week against Kentucky, and another big one here against the Auburn Tigers.
77 on the run, a career high 186 yards rushing on just 17 carries for Swift. He's averaging 11 yards per carry. Extra point good by Blankenship, and Georgia has opened up a 17-point lead. DeAndre Swift, the sophomore from Philadelphia, with his dad Darren in attendance tonight. Rodrigo Blankenship. A lot of youngsters here in Athens, dressed as Blankenship on Halloween. Trademark glasses. A lot of kids around this part of the country who play sports now wearing glasses because Blankenship made it cool to do so. Georgia with the lead. Jarrett Stidham needs to find the mark again. He hangs on to it on first down and runs for a first down. He started out 11 out of 12 passing. He's just 6 for 14 since.
And the problem is they've had no big chunk plays, no explosive plays down the field, only 2 for the entire game.
Booby Whitlow in trouble. Couldn't find anywhere to run, and a bunch of dogs there, including DeAndre Walker and Monty Rice.
You get behind the chains on really either one of these defenses, but you know, you just have such a slim margin for error offensively if you're Auburn right now. You can't afford negative plays like that on first down. You make a first down with your quarterback run. Now you're second and long. You're behind the chains. You only have 230 yards of offense in the whole game.
Just 87 yards rushing. Stidham to Davis, who slipped down 2 yards short of the line to make. Mark Webb nearby for Georgia. Of course, a year ago, Auburn had Kerryon Johnson, excellent running back, second-round pick of the Detroit Lions. They had a second-round pick in Braden Smith at right guard. He went to the Indianapolis Colts. They're just not as talented right now at some key positions up front and at running back. And the running game has not existed again tonight. And they have to abandon it now, down by 17. Stidham trying to keep the play alive. Got it off. And what is the call? The sideline. Apparently an incomplete pass.
Well, what pressure by Adam Anderson, one of those freshmen. He is a tall and thin guy that's got to gain some weight, but he runs as fast as DBs, and that time he was in hot pursuit of Jarrett Stidham and forced the throw out of bounds and another punt for Auburn.
Siposs. Auburn's gone 125 games without a punt blocked. Back to 2009. That's the longest such streak in the country. Fair catch, Terry Godwin. 12 minutes to go. Georgia the ball and in command. 27-10.
58 attempts tonight. They're 278 yards rushing, and coming off a 331 last week against Kentucky, and takes a lot of pressure off Jake Fromm too.
Holyfield ahead. Content to just milk the clock now.
You know, it's these teams played twice last year. You already mentioned it. In the game that was played in November in Auburn, Auburn dominated the run game. They had 237 yards rushing to Georgia's 46. When they met again in December in the championship game, Georgia had 238 yards rushing and Auburn had 114. And tonight, a huge advantage, almost 200 yards difference in rushing between Georgia and Auburn.
281 to 87. Nice patience by Holyfield. Just for a moment, a hesitation, and he ripped through the hole for 17 yards and a first down to the Auburn 40.
Another trap play. When you run a trap, you leave somebody unblocked. They left Derek Brown unblocked, and the guard comes and traps him. And they knew that they had that in their offensive repertoire, because Kevin Steele told us we practiced the trap even though they haven't shown it, but they've run it twice tonight, both for effective gains.
Justin Fields back at quarterback. Marlon Davidson, the tackle. He was the #1 rated recruit in the country at any position. Justin Fields, originally committed to Penn State, then changed his mind and stayed here in his home state of Georgia. He's from Kennesaw.
You know, it's an interesting quarterback situation here, because if you just look at pure skill set and talent, Justin Fields is the more gifted guy. But Jake Fromm, I mean, he is a winner, a competitor, and he's a better quarterback than he was a year ago. And the coaches have great trust in him.
You hear the cheer. The fans like the fact they let Fields throw a pass. You mentioned he hadn't thrown one in the last 3 games. He hit Riley Ridley there. Now, we went to practice on Thursday afternoon. As they say, he can really spin it.
Oh, no, absolutely. He's got tremendous skills. But the guy that he's battling is just not in any hurry to give up his job. And has played well enough to keep his job. That's the thing.
But you wondered the first sign of a little slippage, if it becomes another situation like we saw at Alabama, like we saw at Clemson, as we saw this year at Notre Dame, where an experienced veteran quarterback who was winning was replaced by a backup who was perceived to give them more of something.
Well, the difference between this situation and those, in my opinion, Sean, is in the Alabama, Clemson, and Notre Dame situation, you're talking about a passing quarterback replacing more of a running quarterback. Jake Fromm's a passing quarterback. He is not known as a runner. He is a passer. And that's why I think it's a little bit different, because he gives them what they need in this offense to go with the run game, the play action. Justin Fields just has superior skills. And so it's going to be something that'll be interesting to watch the rest of the way through this season.
So well coached, milking the play clock all the way down. Holyfield ahead, and he's nearing 100 yards. They could have Swift and Holyfield at 100+ for the 2nd week in a row. 93 now for Elijah.
Gilliard's hobbling off a little bit. They're bringing in Trey Hill, the guy that replaced him last week. True freshman.
We said we watched practice Thursday. I only watched part of it because some of the time on the sideline, we really enjoyed our chat with the great Jim Donnan, the former Georgia coach. But part of the time on the sideline, I was behind Trey Hill, who's in
hard
now
to
for
see.
Gilliard, and it was hard to see the field because Trey Hill is as wide as he is tall. Nice drive here. 10th play of the drive, just the 2nd pass. And Fields threw incomplete for Jeremiah Holloman.
Late penalty flag at the end of that play. I don't know if he was having trouble getting it out of his pocket or what, but it was very
Pass
late.
interference, number 21, defense. I roll the ball and place at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Smoke Monday, who we had a chance to meet at the Auburn Hotel last night, trying to guard Holloman, and there's the hold. There's the pass interference, grabbed him. Kirby Smart calling for it, and he got the late call.
Against Quindarius Monday. Nickname Smoke. Asked him how he got the nickname. He said, I was so fast when I was a kid, my grandpa said it was just like a trail of smoke behind me. A lot of personality in Smoke Monday. Early enrollee in January, so he was around for spring ball out of Carver High School in Atlanta. Fields still in there. Fields under duress, stayed on his feet, made a couple men miss, but finally succumbed back near the 20 in the arms of Andrew Williams, a senior from Sunflower, Alabama.
And this is a young quarterback mistake here. You have to throw this on time. If you can't throw it on time, then you got to throw it away, because you can't take the negative play back that far away from the goal line. You're down in there after the penalty, 1st and goal. Throw the thing away and play 2nd down.
After the loss of 17, Fields handed it off to Brian Herrion. Ben Cleveland, who was in the rotation earlier, started earlier in the year, missed the last 5 games with a leg injury. They thought he might play last week. He was cleared to play, but Kirby Smart told us, I just didn't like it. He's been limping around.
Well, and they thought he'd just play in case of an emergency. He was running with the 2s in practice on Thursday when we were there. But now with Kendall Baker a little shook up, they've had to go to him here late in the ball game. He's been out since the Missouri game when he hurt his leg. Justin Fields has made Jake Fromm a better quarterback this year.
They have a good relationship, according to what Jake Fromm told us yesterday. Herrion runs inside the 10. 4 minutes to go. Auburn with a couple of timeouts, selecting not to use them, down by 17. And Blankenship is going to come on. Two for two tonight. 17 for 19 for the year. Bowling, and he can throw it too far. Trying to get it to Isaac Nada, and with as popular as Hot Rod is here, this stadium might have come down if that had been completed.
Direct snap to Hot Rod. He's got his man. Throw it right at him. Don't lead him when he's wide open, Rodrigo. Sean, it's almost like Auburn's playing with one hand tied behind their back, because they've always been such a great running team. 9 years in a row, Gus has had a 1,000-yard rusher. Last year they averaged 218 yards per game rushing. The year before that, 271 yards per game rushing. This year, barely over 150 yards a game. They just aren't the same. They're not able to do the things that he likes to do that makes them effective.
You think back to a year ago, this time, they were on their way to being 2 #1 teams in the country. They beat Alabama and Georgia when they were both ranked #1. They won the West. But because they lost the SEC title game, didn't get into the college football playoff, and wound up losing their bowl game to Scott Frost's UCF team in Scott's last game there. But after the year, Arkansas, where he's from, looking for a coach. I don't know how much of a factor that was, but they gave Gus a 7-year, $49 million extension. And a couple of weeks ago, after the shocking loss to Tennessee, there were a lot of articles about they're going to try to buy him out. And earlier this week, Alan Green, the athletic director, who's new, arrived earlier this year, said he'll be our coach next year. But the fact that he even had to say that out loud, given the recent success, says a lot about, as Gus said, life in the SEC.
And I don't think those rumblings will go away either.
No. Well, his buyout is a reported $32 million, and he gets half of that apparently within a month or so after they were to let him go. I don't think it's going to happen. You'd like to take the athletic director at his word, but talking to a lot of people around Auburn, I don't think anybody would be entirely shocked if it did happen. They're probably going to finish the regular season 7-5. They'll be a big underdog at Alabama, but they should beat Liberty next week.
Look, I think Gus Malzahn's a good football coach. I really do. I think they just, have kind of got a shortage on some things that they need right now. They've got some good young skill players. They've got a lot of speed in the perimeter players.
I thought Gus was very candid with us last night, and not the least bit defensive about being asked about. He said, at Auburn, we expect to play for championships.
Thank you.
And we should, and we will. He said, I think we will again next year. In his first season there in 2013, they won the SEC title and played for the national championship against Florida State.
Nick Marshall was his quarterback.
Stidham throws it away. He probably won't have Stidham as his quarterback if he is back as the coach, as we expect next year. Jarrett does have another year of eligibility. We asked him about that last night, and he said, we'll see how the rest of it goes. We'll see what the NFL people let him know what they think about him. But it sounded like he was leaving, and it sounded like Gus Malzahn expected him to leave.
That's what it sounded like to us, and I would not be shocked at all to see Kelly Bryant, the former Clemson quarterback, wind up there either. I think that could be a good fit for him.
Ryan Davis, the catch. I'm sure Kelly Bryant would want to know who the coach is going to be before he makes that decision. Well, Ryan Davis has had a historic night. Not only did he pass Courtney Taylor to become Auburn's all-time leader in receptions, but he has had a career high 13 catches in this game tonight, just 73 yards. But They've targeted him 14 times. He's caught 13 of them. Flag down. Slayton was out of bounds as the ball was coming in his direction with DeAndre Baker.
It's kind of a gift too. It's 4th down and Jarrett Stidham's going for the end zone on 4th down.
I don't think that ball is catchable unless Slayton had a ticket in row 2 by the band.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference. The pass is ruled uncatchable. The ball's turned over on downs. 1st down.
Kirby's energetic, isn't he?
He doesn't stop.
It's that way all the time, including at practice. Here's the unexpected outcome brought to you by ExxonMobil. Jarrett Stidham just 56 yards passing in the 2nd half, with his team trailing throughout the half and having to lean heavily on the pass.
And nothing down the field. They had no plays that really stretched or threatened this Georgia defense. They made a few plays, but they weren't anything down the field.
Not a great quarterback class when I toward the draft. Justin Herbert of Oregon and Ryan Finley of NC State, the 2 quarterbacks rated ahead of Stidham by Todd McShay. So a big win for Kirby Smart. They go to 9-1. They have UMass coming here, and then they finish with another home game, 3 in a row to close out the year with Georgia Tech, that traditional rivalry game before they head to Atlanta for the SEC championship game against Alabama. And Auburn drops to 6-4. They've lost their last 6 trips to Athens, with Liberty and then at Alabama to close out the regular season. More great football to come. Cal and USC coming up shortly. Now for Holly Rowe, Todd Blackledge, our great crew led by Phil Dean and Scott Johnson. Sean McDonough so long from Athens. Here's Adnan Virk.